Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Suckman. Welcome to more Let's Play Train Simulator. So, wanting to go back to the U.S., I decided New York, New Haven was overdue. Let's just put it bluntly. Look at how much stuff I have to play here. We have the regular scenarios with the ACS 64 Amtrak. We have the Acela scenarios down here. And if we continue downwards, there's the FL9. There's the Gen Set. These are all DLC, by the way. Here's some GP40 scenarios from the GP40 scenario pack, which I'm going to do some of them at once across the different routes because there are 3 different routes used in that. We're not going to brush those individually. Here's the HP8, another DLC. Here's the M8. And if that's not enough, here's the first scenario pack for New York, New Haven. And here's the second scenario pack for New York, New Haven. We finally get down to the P32, which is another piece of DLC, and then we finally hit North Jersey coastline with the Morristown and coastline area, and North NJT itself is below NJCL, I should say. So we have a lot of DLC here for this route, and that doesn't count anything I've already added to the standard tab that I don't really need because again I've got so much of it on the career tab. This one I don't really need to add to, but given it's one of the original US routes, a lot of stuff exists for it, so it makes sense to go ahead and get this out there. I am looking at Pacific Surfliner, of course, as well at some point back in LA. And, of course, the Northwest Corridor, where I found a very, very intriguing workshop scenario in my analysis today as I'm recording this. So, I kind of want to get Northwest Corridor done, too. But I want to go ahead and do the New York route first. Then we'll go ahead and we will connect the 2 routes, basically the part that goes down south on the northeast corridor. We're going to head down towards Baltimore after we explore the New York, New Haven. So I'm going to do a few of these this week. I'm going to do the 3 this week again, including Tuesday. So I'm going to do the first 3. I'm going to do something else next week. I'm thinking about Somerset and Dorset, but I'm not 100% sure. I just know I want to get that route visited before the holidays, because I have something I want to do there at the holidays. So we're going to do this route. We might do Somerset and Dorset next week, and then I might consider going back to Germany and then coming back to the US for another route. I kind of need to take a break from the UK stuff, get used to some of the other stuff again, because it's been a while since I've used a lot of the American stuff, except for a couple weeks ago, of course, on Horseshoe Curve, and the German stuff, which I have not used for a long time on this channel. So we have to come back to those places and visit those as well. And Somerset and Dorset will have some Black 5, some steam engines, so I'm kind of making up for it with that, I think. I know there's some Class 37, some Class 47 there as well, but I know a Black 5 shows up in 1 or 2 scenarios there. I do have to at some point visit Hedborough North and see Bergman as well, because that will give me the rest of the routes I need to show off a very interesting scenario pack that I have in mind. I'm going to spend a while on that scenario pack, because it does cover a lot of routes, but I know that these routes are part of the scenario pack as well. Not the New York, New Haven. I'm talking about the original routes from the Railworks days. But in any case, let's concentrate on what we're doing today. New York, New Haven. We're going to do the first 3 scenarios. So today we're going to go ahead and do... Oh, look at this. The Tuesday scenario is going to be a nice short 20-minute one. I do not object to that. I'm okay with that. Nice 20-minute scenario on Tuesday. But for right now, we're going to do the... And of course, we have a few other small ones as well. If I want to go out of order, I could do a bunch of small ones to get ahead again. But I'm going to go ahead and do them in order. We're going to do the 50-minute Northeast Regional to New Haven. Part 1, and then there's another one, Part 2, which is another 50-minute scenario. It looks like it's a 1 hour, 40-minute drive, but the various scenarios are going to take us in little segments here, like the Vermonter to Bridgeport, Vermonter to Stamford, Sunnyside Balloon, sorry, which seems to be a train from Washington that terminated here, and Vermonter to New York Penn. And then, of course, the Acela and everything else is all the other different routes. Like a Grand Journey, for example, that's 65 minutes between those scenarios and so on and so forth. So these seem to be the longest... These 2 together seem to be the longest scenario. This seems to be a good introduction to the route. How else can we begin this, huh? Seems like the best way to begin the route to me, especially because they're level 2 scenarios, apparently, in difficulty. Let's get started with some easy stuff to show off the route. This look familiar, guys? You'll be taking this service all the way to New Haven today. For now, make passenger stops here at New York Penn, New Rochelle, and Stamford, where you will stop for a break. The weather is clear and traffic is low, so a nice, easy run for you. Wait for the signal ahead to clear before departing. And before we do anything, let's bring the HUD up, and I'll hit T to open the doors. We're going to hit Control D. This should turn off all of the the alerter and ATC alarms, and it will remove penalty brake functionality. So this is the ATC cutout. It should turn that off. The cab signal will still function in front of us, but we will not be pestered to slow down when we know what we're doing. I've driven about 41 routes. I know what I'm doing. So we're going to go ahead and just, you know, it's the whole New York way. We know what we're doing. We know what we're doing. Like the mob boss. We know what we do. We're allowed to go. We actually have a red signal, so we're not actually allowed to go yet. I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of power on in the most unorthodox way that I could possibly start my operations by doing the throttle up, and then the reverser forward, and then the brakes off. That's logical. Why can't we go yet? Well, that's where we're going. Let's look at the map. See where that train is? We're crossing that if we do that. So we need the track that train is on. The junction's going to eventually change for us to use that track. Right now it goes into nothing, and we're not allowed to go into nothing anyway, so we're just going to wait. So there's the signal up ahead. I'm applying some power because I expect a green signal any moment now. That's a Northeast Regional train. I believe it was 97 if I remember the number correctly. And I didn't check, so that's on me. So moving the power up, we are on our way. Zoom back out. That's not speed. 14 is fine. It'll drop slightly below that. That is also fine. Apply a little power again because I am now down in the 12s. I don't want to be in the 12s. That's just a little slow. Alright, so moving power up. Let's take a quick review of our itinerary. We're going to be going via the Gate Main 2 East. 713, we have to pass by there. We're going to continue via Pelham Bay, Main 2. 724, we have to go by there. Shell Main 2 West is not timetabled. Passengers from New Rochelle at 7:30. That is our first stop. We have more stops like that along the way, or go vias. Then we have to get to 7:53 Stamford. And that's where we take our break. We'll review the second half of our trip after we stop at New Rochelle. I put a little too much power on there at the start. I'm going to have to use brakes a little bit on this downhill. So you notice I'm not at 60, but I'm still going ahead and using the brakes because I want to make sure I maintain the control and not go too fast. You probably do want to be a little faster than this though. So I'm going to use that to a -5. So at least I still gain some power. And I think I'm good enough now that I can start fully gaining speed on this downhill again. I want to wait till about 0.3 of a mile out in case I have to add control. Go a little bit more here, I think. Okay, I'll take it off now. See what happens. Yep, we're coming off that downhill, so I'm going to need a little bit of power now. We're going to need 40% to climb on this uphill, so that's what we're doing. But we do the 25 up ahead. Let's not forget that. There's a 20 further ahead as well that we're going to also have to contend with. At the next signal, I'm going to go ahead and start slowing down, but I'm not going to do a full brake yet. So I'm just taking the throttle off for right now. As I said, I was going to do a bit of a slowdown, just not a full brake yet. The reason we have to be careful here is because we will get wheel slip in this train. I don't know if it's a case where it's just programmed differently than it was back then, where it behaves differently than it was originally programmed, but we will get wheel slip in this train if we try and slow down too much at once. So you have to be very, very judicious with our brake usage here. There we go. We should be good now. I've put a little throttle back on because we're still on the uphill. We are going to have a 20 up ahead anyway, but we might as well use this while we have it. So now we're coming off the uphill. I'm bringing the throttle back down. We're going to have the progress signal here. Yep, full green. So there's the 20 right there. Let's bring our speed down for that. Be advised that some signals here will also require you to go at lower speeds as well. So if you see a signal telling you you have to go 20 and your speed for the line is 50, sorry, you're going 20. So we're in a 50 right now, but that's a 20 right behind it. Now there's two signs there, so the 20 only applies to a very small segment, it looks like. Once you pass the butt end of both signs, you can go technically up to 50. But there's actually another set of signals up ahead which marks another 20. We don't want to be going too fast when we pass under that because it is well before that 20 that's marked up ahead. So I'm taking advantage of the opportunity to get a little speed while I can, but we do have to bring it back down before the signal. I'm not going to dare go above 25 because I don't want to generate wheel slip misjudging this. It's going to do a number on our ETA, but we're going to have to work with it. Keep in mind the ETA is for the waypoint. We're not actually stopping at 7:11 or 7:13 or whatever time you want to go with. We're just going by. So as long as we go by 7:13, we're on time. So I brought my speed back down to 20 because I don't want to take any chances here. At least if it will let me go down to 20. There we go. Not exactly in the most favorable position right now. A little more, please. So you saw that signal above. That signal does require us to go 20. It went, our speed dropped right as we went under that signal. So it was necessary for us to stay at 20 as we passed that signal. In fact, the train speed the cab shows you, I think that's a lunar yellow, which is indeed 20. You remember that from Sherman Hill? You have to be down at 20 by the time you pass that signal. Otherwise, it will ding you. There's another train going by. I don't see a 15 up ahead, so I should be okay here. The speed's going down anyway. I'm going to go ahead and drop to 15 just to make sure, because that's another double speed, and I don't trust those double speeds right now. So, down to 15.9 just to see what happens up ahead. This double speed is not affecting us, so I am actually okay. Let's just make sure on the next signal that everything is clear, and we will go from there. If it is, we are free to go 60 miles per hour, and we got a nice long stretch of it. I'm just trying to maintain the 15 right now. That is a green. That is all green once we're off the 20. There's There's a 50 up ahead, so we're going to stop at 50. We can go 60. Quick look at the map to show you where we are. We're still on the sideways track here. We still have to go north. Our go-by point is on the curve to the north. We may be there in about 2 minutes. I'm not going to be going beyond 50 right now because that is our upcoming speed limit. We have a 60 right after that. We're on a, well, it says slight uphill. Maybe it hasn't registered yet. There it is. So slight uphill, which I assume I'm going to have to counteract, is 0.5% gradient. Green signals continue. We've now arrived at Gate Main 2 East. Here is that waypoint for us. We can go up to 60 miles per hour. Our next waypoint is Pelham Bay, Main 2. We have about 10 minutes to go to get there, maybe 11, maybe 12. There's another 50 up ahead. We're going to have to slow down for that. Now you see why you want to turn off the alarms, right? That's super annoying. Have we go in suppression just to drop 10 miles? Please. Let me drop the speed when I want to drop it. Because what my experience with suppression on the Washington-Baltimore route was that you had to often drop your speed well before the speed limit actually took effect. And you had to stay, you couldn't go above that speed limit even though you weren't actually under that speed limit yet. So that's why I like turning off the suppression. Because like the requirement to use suppression, the alarms and such, because then I can slow down when I want to. I know what I'm doing. Let me control my own destiny, please. Now, I don't know if this signal is going to be indicating 50. I don't think it can, but I'm not going to take any chances here because I'm not operating on any save games at the moment. And I've already had trouble starting this scenario today because I had to figure out how to turn off suppression. I think we are green. We are under a 50. We're under a 60 still. We are going across the bridge, by the way. I don't remember the name of this bridge. I honestly don't remember. I don't remember this bridge. Don't speed. Thank you. We're on a downhill. Let's not speed, please. As we zoom back in. And we're going to... Whoa! As we zoom back in and get in the cab. Let's stop goofing off, please. Good thing I kept that up. Kind of annoying that we get cut to a 50 on the bridge when we have a major downhill. We can go 60 again, so I'm putting the speed back on even though we are on a downhill. Just a little bit though. We're on 1.2% gradient. I'm going to go ahead, no, not brakes. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here. Geez, I almost gave myself wheel slip again. That would have been fun. There is a 70 up ahead. That's a little more liberating. Now, I know that trains are not normally supposed to go above 79.9 miles per hour, so you can't exceed 80. And I remember that from the New York, New Haven, no, from the Miami route as well. We're on New York, New Haven. From the Miami route as well. You actually saw the green indicating unlimited speed limit, but of course we were in a freight train. We could not go unlimited speed limit. They actually limited us to 79, so that when we got to 80, we would actually be limited by that 80. We could not exceed 80. So it was actually a little creative way they forced us to stay under 80 at all times. Really, really neat way to do that. But that was because that train did not have in-cab signaling. This train has in-cab signaling, so in that area we could probably go whatever speed we wanted to go. I don't know why I'm slowing down. That was my own fault. I don't know why I'm doing that. I don't know why there's a 70 there. We're not going to get a lot of time to do that. There's another 70 further ahead that's going to be more of interest. These speeds are all over the place here. This might have been a station. I don't have the information on hand in front of me at the moment as to what station it is, but I'll try to add that information in post-edit. I'm filming this well in advance, so I have the time to do that. This area just looks overgrown. So, not planned, but I'm already down at 55. Highway. I would go look at the street sign, but I'm still not familiar enough with this track. We're not taking a chance. I feel like it's the same street sign from Miami route anyway, but nah. Don't speed. We're actually under a 55 now. Thank you. Another bridge here. Well, not really. It's just a work area. Speeding up. 70 miles per hour is now actually our speed limit. So we're going to go ahead and take advantage. See the green signal in the cab as well, telling us exactly what to expect. And I like to keep the speed a couple miles under the limit when we're at these faster speeds. That gives us even more control. So I'm going to go ahead and ease the throttle back to a very low setting just to see what happens. And this gives me the opportunity to fine-tune my throttle where I want to have it to maintain its speed. Of course, as gradients change, I have to fine-tune that even further. There is a 60 coming up, so I'm going to have to lower my speed anyway. So much for fine-tuning anything. We just have to lower our speed now. Yeah, this would be a route that would be a pain to drive without the HUD. You're better off just keeping a speed limit of the lower limit every time you bounce back and forth. You're better off just keeping that lower limit in mind, because it seems to be the best way to avoid speeding. If you know what long sections you have where you can actually maintain a speed. But if you have to dip to a slow speed in between, just keep a little slower speed. So if you have a 60, 70, 60, just keep 60 through that 70. If you have a 50, 60, 50, or 50, 60, 55, or something like that, just keep the slower speed. But once you know you're going to be at 70 for a while, you can move up to 70 and down to 80 and so on. In this case, we are going to be coming down to 45 up ahead. You can see that now. I'm already down to 60. So this 70 really doesn't mean anything to us either, because we're going to be down to 45 very quickly. The good news, though, is we're going to be well on time for our ETA checkpoint here. If I remember, our Stamford stop was 7:30. Do I have that in mind correctly? Notice there's a 100-mile-per-hour speed limit up ahead. So we're about to tear out here. So we're going to have another temporary 70 here, which doesn't really mean anything, but try to speed up a little while we can, see what happens. So just to show we can do it, doesn't mean we should do it, just that we can do it. So I'm going to slow down now. We're going to get there. Got our timeliness bonus. Now just get our speed down. Our speed is down. Okay, we're good. So arrival at Shell Main 2 West is expected probably in about a couple minutes here. Yeah, 7:25. So we should be going by that in about 3 minutes. I don't know if there's a speed limit drop by then, but since we're gonna have a chance to go up to 100, I don't care. Take another opportunity to look at the bridge. Are those people over there? I don't know. There's the sun in the distance. There's another bridge over there. That might be a passenger bridge of some sort. So there we go. We can go back into our cab. We are now on flat ground. Well, it's going to go up and down periodically, but we're now on a nice stretch of ground that we can now go at very fancy speeds. 100 miles per hour is now the law of the track for me. As I speed up, look at the map where we are. We have left the Long Island Penn area far behind all down here. We are now way up here. We are going to eventually meet another track up here. Our waypoint is before we meet that track. And our track that we are stopping at, our station, is New Rochelle, which is right there. So that is what we have coming up. To review our itinerary once again, we have to stop at New Rochelle by 7:30. That does not look like it's 5 minutes after the other spot we're going by, so I think we're going to be okay. You see the waypoint up ahead, we are going to drop to a 45 again, so again, even though we can go 100 doesn't mean we should. But we're going to be able to up ahead anyway before we get to New Rochelle, assuming we don't see the station first. We're up in the 80s now. When that signal's a mile away, I'm going to drop the speed back down. I didn't go to full throttle where I could have actually gotten to 100 and maybe gone better in time as well, but we'll take it. Let's slow down. Hopefully we did not screw this up and go too much speed. That would be bad. Oh, New Rochelle's right there. We're early. I think we're okay. We're gonna get down. I don't know why I have a 100 between 245s. That makes no bloody sense to me. You are being routed through track 2 at New Rochelle due to a broken down train on the other platform. Excellent, thank you for informing me. New Rochelle's right there. We're super early. Now, granted, it was right there. It was on our HUD showing us about 2 minutes away, but now it's, again, 2 minutes away. I think we're going to be okay with this stop. We are well on time. Nothing to panic about. This is a very challenging track to play on, so looks like the timetable might be giving considerations for the challenge of this track. Which is not a bad thing. And since we're super early, I'm going to go ahead and start slowing down now. That way we don't have wheel slip problems when we get to New Rochelle. We're coming in too fast. Because we are super early, I know I'm going to be sitting here for 3 minutes waiting. We can't leave until 7:30. You're now 2/10 of a mile away from the platform. And I'm just trying to avoid wheel slip. That's literally what I'm trying to do. I'm not used to this train on this track yet. I know the same train shows up on Washington to Baltimore. It's been a while since I drove that. I might need to review the videos on that one to learn some things again. But here is our platform at New Rochelle. The one thing about the Washington-Baltimore track, there's not a lot of stations you stop at. There's a lot more on this route, that's for sure. Assuming you do some locals here and there, you might actually stop at a whole bunch of them. We're going to go a little bit further here. We are fully in the platform. You're going just a little further. Let's stop here at the stairs. Can we stop now? Ah, not quite. We're in the building area. Okay. Well, so be it. I did want to stop before the stairs, but we'll deal with it. Okay, I think I have to put the brakes on. That's how you do it. Okay, that works. Let's put the throttle back to 0. 0, I said. 0. Thank you. And we're going to open the doors. Arrival at New Rochelle, track number 2. Next up, Stamford. Copy that. All aboard. So several of the stations along our way are marked as waypoints here. What was that beep for? Actually, I'm not sure what that beep was for. Uh-oh. Yeah, several of our stations are marked along the way here. Larchmont is actually the next station we're going to pass by. So that is our next waypoint. We are going to be passed by there in about 2 minutes. Once we get up to speed, that is. We do have a 20 up ahead. I think that's what the beat might have been. Or no, that's the 70. Sorry, I can't read. 45, 50, 70, 80 in that order. Got it. And I like being a few miles under the limit, so we're going to stay 42 and a half or so for right now. Back up to 50 so we can increase again. And then we'll start making our way up to 70. So it looks like the cab signal might be beeping a change in the type of signal, which is actually something I like. So we just got beeped up to a green signal. We shouldn't hear any more beeps for a while, I don't think. Here is Larchmont. We're not putting full throttle on. Why I'm not doing that, I have no idea. We should be doing that to get up to our fast speed, so I'll put a little more throttle on to get up to 80, because we're allowed to do that. And I'm going to cut the throttle back a little as we get to the higher speeds. So we actually are okay staying at 77, 78 in this range. Again, lowering my power a little bit as we're going to pass by a Larchmont platform. There's our timeliness. Our next waypoint is via Rye. That is the third station from where we are now. So we're going to pass by a couple more stations along the way. If I see station platforms, I will call them out. I have names of the stations actually in mind for this one. Not memorized, but in mind. In fact, I can actually see them marked, which is very nice. So it looks like they're invisible goals to show us where the stations are. I actually like that. So the next station you can see is Mamaroneck. Mamaroneck Station. We're going to be going through track 4 at a speed limit of 80 miles per hour. We seem to have hit a good holding point for our speed in this area. So I was at about 10% or 9% or something like that throttle, and I was not really moving. I put a tiny bit more speed on 12%. I'm now slightly gaining towards that 80 again. We do have a 70 coming up, so we are going to keep in mind that we have to cut down to 70 again. But for right now, here's Mamaroneck Station coming up. Down to 70 now. Can you just hear the alarms beeping at me at this point if I had them on? I can. It's annoying. I mean, if you're going to run without the HUD, it actually can be helpful to have those alarms on. But when you have the HUD up telling you what the speed limits are, leave me alone. There's a 50 coming up. That precedes Rye. We now are coming up to Harrison. That's the next station we're going to see. Again, going on track 4. So I think that just means we're literally on the 4th track. We're on the rightmost track. That is known as track 4. Now, I'm not sure if 1 and 2 are in the middle or if 1 is on the far left, which means 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way across. I'm not 100% sure. I suspect in the US it would be 1, 2, 3, 4 from left to right. But I know on Long Island Railroad I have seen 1 and 2 in the middle, in the area around Woodside. This is Harrison Station. So the area around Woodside, you would actually see 1 and 2 in the middle, 3 and 4 on the outside. So that could be 1 and 2 in the middle. I'm not going to go to the map and check this right now. It doesn't apply to our current driving situation, so I'm not going to worry about that. We're going to cut our speed down to 50 because that we do need to do. be down to 60 for right now. That's a good start. And just keep a smaller brake application now, and I'll increase again to, actually I am going to need it, so I'll put it back on. We have to be by Rye at 741. Well before 751. I didn't brake quite enough, so there we go. We're now going under a 50-mile-per-hour speed limit. I'm right at the limit, so I have to be very wary about any speed increases. We're going to be by Rye in plenty of time. This timetable is very relaxed, I can see already. So we should have no problem getting to our final stop here, I would say, as long as we can maintain our speed limits here. That is another 70 up ahead. So I'm okay staying on in the 49 to 50 range as long as we don't overdo it, knowing that we're not going to be decreasing speed. So I've really got 3% throttle on to maintain 49.1. I don't have a hand on the controls right now. Well, I better do it because we're going up. I'm up to 49.2. By Rye, 159 seconds early. And there is the advertisement for the finale, which looks more like an advertisement for the Backstreet Boys, if you ask me, but we won't talk about that. There is a 45 up ahead at Port Chester, a 50 following that. So this 70 area is not really much of a 70. In fact, we are so far ahead, I don't think I want to push this. I think I'm okay leaving my speed roughly where it is. I might increase this a little bit, but we have to bring it back down for 45 anyway. Apply just a tiny bit more throttle to get us back up to 50. Let's increase a little bit for right now, and then we'll bring it right back down. So 55 is as high as I'm going to go. I will hit 55, there it is. Then I'll bring it back down for Port Chester. Once I'm 0.5 of a mile out, I'm going to lower that speed. That is now. And coming off just slightly too fast there, so. I think I'm coming off a good pace now. And I will lower my drop at this stage, so we want to stay where we are. And I am losing speed slightly, which is perfect for right now, because I'm right at the speed limit. So 50 follows, and I think that's just a straight 70. I thought I saw a double sign there, but I think I'm imagining that. So we have a 70 following this. Port Chester's been left behind. The next station we're going to go by is Greenwich, or Greenwich, however you want to call it. That is 2 miles away from us. And we're going to have another trio of stations to go by before we reach our final stop. If you want to remember, our final stop is right there at Stamford, which is about 7 miles away from us. So 2 miles for our waypoint. Another 5 for Stamford. I think it said 7:53 we have to be there by. We are not going to have an issue with that. If anything, we can get a red signal up ahead since they're not ready for us yet. That's a possibility, so I should probably slow it down. That might be something to consider. I can go 70 again, but there is a 50 up ahead at Greenwich.
I wonder if the internal track doesn't have any change in speed limit. So you might actually be able to stay at a fast speed on the inner track because you don't have a chance to stop at stations. Meanwhile, these speed limits are probably for station speed limits. That's a suspicion that I have in mind here. If it is 50 on all tracks, then what do I know? I'm being very, very cautious on the speeds right now because I am way ahead on time anyway. Like I said already, I am worried there could be a red signal up ahead. So I'm just going to go ahead and take it easy and make sure that we stay within our ETA, especially after we pass the Greenwich waypoint, which we're going to be about 3 minutes early on, and then some. We're 200 seconds away from our time on that, and we're almost there. If you're more than 3 minutes ahead, there's a chance something's going to go wrong. Like missing a signal. I did bring it within 3 minutes. So we're going to cross that point at 175 seconds early. This is Greenwich. Or Greenwich. Or the color after yellow in the rainbow. Which? I think we're on a little bit of a downhill gradient right now, but we are about to cross into 70 again. I don't know if all of the other stations that follow in this area are on the HUD or not as waypoints. I'm just going to show you on the map very quickly so I know that we've covered them. Let's go to the map and find our train. There we are. Here's all the stations up ahead. You can see we're going to have Coscob and Riverside as our next two stations. So let's keep an eye out for those. Notice I have not bothered to increase my speed at this time. We're only 4 miles out from Stamford, and we got 9 minutes to do this. Even if you assume that you can be marked late for being early, which we have been in some cases, I don't think being 5 minutes early is going to get you marked late. So, or even 2 minutes early. So I'm just taking it easy in this section. I might go up to 70 in the next section again. Now this is a right curve, which I believe will take us into Coscob Station. There it is, Coscob Station. We're approaching another 50 sign here. I think we're over some water here. Yeah, we are. Look at that. Look at that. Lovely. I don't see any speed reductions as we come up to Riverside Station. We're soon going to be going 70 again at Riverside. Alright, up we go. Just a slow increase because there's one more station I want to show you here. There's a station right here at Old Greenwich, not too far away. And then as we move along the track, that's not moving along the track. Where's my speed? Good. As we move along the track, we're going to find our way up to Stamford right there. 4 platforms. We're still way back here. And there actually is a 45, and is that a 20 junction up ahead? Is that what I think it is? I'm going to start slowing down for that in a moment, just in case that is a 20. I don't know. I don't know if that's a 20, and I want that to zoom in a little so I can actually get a good look at it. So I'm going to keep my speed down. So here's Old Greenwich, which I assume is an old station known as Greenwich in the past. There's Stamford right there. Oh my gosh, bring that speed down. Let's bring that speed right down. Because we are very, very early. Was there anyone at the station? Let's just verify this. If there was no one at the station, we might be good to go. Oh, there's a train on track 3. And now we can confirm 3 and 2 are in the middle. So it's actually track... I'm not sure anymore. Oh, track 5 on the outside. That's track 5 on the outside. So 1 is right in the middle of the 5 tracks when we get to that station. That is a 70. I misread that. But we're coming so close to our stop anyway. So early. We might as well just keep our speed low. There's no reason to go fast. There is no reason to go fast. We're taking a break anyway. So 45, 70, and 50, and that will do it for our speeds. We're going to come to Stamford under a speed limit of 50 miles per hour. But as you can see, I'm already under 40. I'm close to 35. Because we got 5 minutes to do this. We're going to be there in 2. So we got a flashing green to get us to change tracks there. I'm going to keep that speed coming down now. We still have a green up ahead, but we got a beep, so something is changing. It should not be a red because you would have a yellow before you go to a red. That means my suggestion is that Stamford signal at the end of the platform is probably the red that we heard the beep for, so it probably is a yellow up ahead. And as I scan ahead, we can confirm this in a mo. Wait a second. Well, it's a green. It's a flashing green. We're good. I'm going to enter Stamford at 15 miles per hour just because I am doing so well in time. We're going to take a bit of a victory lap here. Just come in slow because we are well on time. There's some ads. Extra large. And there's the edge of the Stamford station platform. There's a train right there. I didn't see who that was. I want to know who that was. That was not even labeled. It's not even a moving train. Good to know. The signal at the end of the platform actually is a flashing green, so we're not being stopped, which is probably a bad thing. But given that the real scenario would actually continue, if it was one shot from beginning to end, it should be a green signal of some form. So I would expect that to be a green signal in real life. Let's try and stop before the stairs this time, shall we? We're going to be moved for the next scenario anyway. I don't know exactly where, but I want to try and stop for the stairs. Put the brakes on. We have arrived. Let's put that down to, well, you know what? Doesn't matter. There we go. We're at 0. So we have arrived at 7:51 at Stamford Track 2. Let's take a look at our train. I'm going to say this counts as stopping before the stairway. I mean, the engine doesn't open its doors, I don't think. The passenger cabins do, a little further back. So that's our engine that we're seeing, and the passengers are disembarking further back. Nice lady on the yellow line. Stay behind the yellow line, ma'am, please, for your safety. Stay behind the yellow line. And, yeah, this is our U.S. flag marked Amtrak. And you can see traffic in the distance behind. So yeah, that's part one of the scenario. This is a two-part scenario. We're going to continue to New Haven in the next scenario. I have no idea how long the break's going to be here, but it's probably going to be at least 3 minutes. So what I may do is I may go ahead. I don't know why I have the... I had that on by accident. Okay, I had that on by accident. In any case, nicely done. We are halfway there. You have just enough time to go grab yourself a cup of tea before we continue our push to New Haven Union Station. So they intended for us to be early. Yeah. Why do I have to have tea? In any case, let's look at our scoring screen. We should have a full score there because we were really early. That was an interesting little beep I got there as I went into the into this screen. I think it was the train giving a shutdown beep or something like that. If you may have heard that coming in here, you may not have, depending on where I'm able to edit that. So it actually gives you a beep as you leave the train. I don't know why. You have to get used to that on all these scenarios, I guess. And for some reason, I see the buttons behind my my game screen there showing the latest offers. So a little bit of a bug in the game design here in the way that the game brings that up. I may have to report that that's happening. Just a weird little bug. But nonetheless, the scoring screen is right there. You can see that that is showing a perfect score. That is not a bug. We did get 700 points or more, so we unlocked New York, New Haven. Start spreading the news. Read all about it. Hot off the presses. Is it in the New York Times? Must be. I don't know. In any case, one other person on my friend list has also done this scenario and gotten 1,000 odd as well. It is an easy scenario. As long as you don't have problems on the tracks at the start, and as long as you pay attention to the speed limits as you go and not speed, you should be okay with this scenario. This is a very easy scenario to get used to the route. And it is one of the longer ones as well. I expect the second scenario will probably be a little bit like that as well. There may be a slightly tighter timetable to kind of force you to pay attention a bit more and do things better. Otherwise, I expect that'll be a good starting scenario as well. So those two scenarios, one after the other, are probably both very similar. I know the next 3 scenarios are all level 2, and there's one level 4, I believe, on the last scenario. That one might be a bit more challenging. We'll have to see when we get there. But for right now, we're just on easy street right now with these scenarios. Good way to introduce ourselves to the route. We're going to eventually get to the DLC, the Acela, and others here as well. I'm not going to say which one yet, but one of the, and if you have the game, you can find out yourself anyway. But one of those DLC actually is part of that Extreme Easter Challenge that happened years ago. And there were special achievements set up for that. You may remember I got one of those on a East Coast Main Line South, Peterborough, like King's Cross to Peterborough scenario. I got one of those achievements where you had to get 1,000 points, and that was the achievement. Get 1,000 points, get a perfect score on a scenario. I'm not going to say which one it is yet, but one of those DLC in that long list at the start. I'm going to include any of the train DLC or even the scenario packs. It could be any of those scenarios. One of those will give us the Extreme Easter. I think it's part 1. Because I think part 3 is the German one. Part 2 is the UK one. If I remember correctly. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that in the future. It will not be as part of this set of 3 scenarios. It will not be part of the next 3 scenarios either when we do those. But at some point I will come back with a DLC and we may be seeing an Extreme Easter Challenge. I don't even know which scenario it is myself. When I get to the DLC, I'm not going to look at which scenario it is. I'm just going to try and do the scenarios perfectly and see if we can nail that challenge and get that special achievement. So we'll do that at some point in the future. Doesn't mean anything. It's just an achievement. But I want to get as many of the achievements ticked off as I can. And then if I have like 1,050 achievements out of 1,100, I can be like, okay, what do I have left to do to get these little remaining achievements? And just to see if I can get as many as I can. Because it's funny seeing that more than 90% of players, sometimes more than 99% of players, never get those achievements. And it's actually funny when I'm going through and just ticking off one after another playing these different routes. Do I need a life? Maybe I do. Is it because no one likes these scenarios? I don't know. But nonetheless, I just feel like doing it as a challenge, and I'm going to enjoy that. So part 2 of this scenario will be next time. There should be another achievement related to part 2, probably a 700, 800 point achievement as well. And we'll get that then as well. In the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever it is for you, your part of the world. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I will see you next time for part number 2. That will be tomorrow, I believe.
So I'll see you for that. Until then, I'm cycling. Bye-bye.